Welcome back to Joe's Stun Unboxing. Oscar Duarte moved to 29 wins with 23 KOs, 2 defeats. One's a stoppage to Ryan Garcia in 2023, and he's got a draw in the mix as well. He's 29 years of age now, and he's put himself in the shop window for a 140 title tilt because he stopped Miguel Madueno, his fellow Mexican. Madueno came in with 31 wins and 28 KOs, so he hits hard. His 3 defeats were on points. The last one was against Keyshawn Davis, and that was his last fight, actually. That was in mid-2024. He'd also lost to Steve Claggett over in Montreal. And he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. He's 26 years of age, Madueno, but this was the first time he was stopped. And to be honest with you, it's a case of one guy being, talented and the other guy just having a little bit more. Because Madueno can fight. He's a good, typical Mexican scrapper, likes to have a row, get in close and land punches. He's got those 28 wins by KO out of 31 wins. Oscar Duarte, though, had just a bit too much slickness, a bit too much... is slickness the right word? He was just a slightly more composed and poised, and they're both orthodox fighters. Duarte he was the one doing the walking down, just walking after Madueno. Madueno didn't really like it on the back foot. I don't think these Mexican guys, they all like to have a good old phone booth war, don't they? But I got the feeling that Duarte was able to push him back a bit more than he wanted to. And whenever Madueno came forward and tried to do what he does well, he was kind of matched by Duarte, who, like I say, was just a bit more varied, he had a bit more variety. Yeah, that's the word, I think, variety. And probably just had a little bit more talent. But this was a good win for Duarte against a good opponent. And of course, inevitably, there'll be comparisons with Keyshawn Davis, who knocked out Baranchek to win WBO. Was it Keyshawn Davis? Yeah. Baranchek, he knocked out Baranchek to win a lightweight belt. So he's a smaller guy, Keyshawn Davis, but people will say, okay, well, Duarte stopped the opponent. Madueno went the distance with Keyshawn. He couldn't get past Duarte. He couldn't last distance with Duarte. I mean, size does matter and so on and so forth, different weight divisions, but it's still a good win for Duarte. And I like, the way that sort of 140, 135, 140 is sort of bubbling up a little bit now, because we've got some good fighters in both those divisions. Of course, Jack Catterall had his interim fight with Arnold Barbosa Jr. and lost a split decision. They are talking now, they being Golden Boy, who promote Barbosa, and Duarte, of putting them together. Maybe Barbosa's first defence will be against Duarte. And Duarte, when you think about it, that 8-round stoppage in 2023 to Ryan Garcia, that was, with the benefit of hindsight, I suppose that's not a bad, doesn't look too bad now. And Garcia, despite the fact that he's nuttier than squirrel shit, I mean, he is a very talented fighter. And also now he's talking about being a welterweight. So maybe Garcia had a bit of size on Duarte. And he, you lose a fight, like I've said all along in these videos, you lose a fight, you come back. It's not a major tragedy. So, yeah, I mean, I like Duarte a lot. He's a fun fighter. I don't think he'll ever be elite, but he's a good sort of B-plus fighter. And he's kind of maximising his talent, which is always good to see. He's 29 now. I mean, Madueno at 26, he's been matched tough. These Mexican lads always are. But clearly he's got some punch with 28 KOs and 31 wins. And he did finish on his feet as well. He got trapped on the ropes in the 7th round. And Duarte was railing on him. He'd been staggered quite badly prior to that, but he wasn't going anywhere. He's got the heart, he's got the guts, and if you got that, and you're taking on good people, I mean, he can be a B-level fighter. He can be a good gatekeeper type. He can make a bit of money. But the referee stepped in and stopped it, and that was good to see. It was a good bit of refereeing, actually. There just wasn't anything coming back from Madueno. So, yeah, it was a good fight. Good fight. A little bit one-sided after the first 2 or 3 rounds. But I do like these Mexican matchups because neither fighter has to go looking for each other, do they? And this was one of those. And again, I just think Duarte had a bit too much firepower, a bit too much of everything, really, for Miguel Madueno. But good little fight. Good little fight. It's on DAZN, promoted by Golden Boy. It headlined their card, which was in the early hours of this morning, if you're in the UK, which I am. So go and have a look. You could spend your time a lot worse than to have a look at that fight. Anyway, thanks very much for your time, as always, on a Sunday as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, if you don't mind, and also hit the like button. And I'll have a read of your comments as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and bye for now.